Gamers, today we got some more Stormgate news. There's a video, I think it's on it's on IGN, and the new faction, the second faction, Infernals, is shown in this video, and a lot of details are shown as well. Now, I skipped through this video, I watched some of it. I have played Stormgate in the 2 closed alphas, and every time I see it, every time I play it, it like so much changes, and so much like changes in a good way, and improves that it's hard to like honestly keep track of stuff. And now when I saw this video, skip through it, I was like, holy smokes, they updated and added so many things. So I can't wait to see what they do in the next one. But they actually have a lot of Infernal specific like stuff that they're showing, like details, not just like a video or like intro, but like an actual
command
gameplay showcase and explaining through the units.
Accomplished.
Is that brimstone I smell? It seems like the forces of the underworld are a bit upset we didn't get any StarCraft news at BlizzCon this year. But Frost Giant, where many veterans of Blizzard's now defunct RTS team have banded together, is the closest thing we'll probably ever get to a StarCraft 3 with Stormgate. And over the last few months, I've gotten up close and personal with its second major faction, the Infernal Host. These are the bad boys.
So, basically, this is a video from IGN, and this guy was going to be talking over, like, what he played or whatever. So I'm going to just commentate over it because I don't have a clean feed. Now, one thing you will notice on this side, they have swapped out the map on the right side. Now, I don't know if this is an option in the UI or something, but the map used to be on the bottom left. And now it's on the bottom right, like Age of Empires 4. So let's fucking go. It was really weird playing Stormgate when the map was on the other side, because I'm used to, you know, looking at the bottom right side. There's so many already improvements from the last time I played. Like the minimap's looking different, a lot of the details and the graphics are improved, the UI is different. Some of the graphics on the units and like the mine are different. Like when I was scrolling through it earlier or going through it quickly, I was like, it updated a lot. Like even this +4 and then the resource, even that is new. So it's really cool to see like the improvement from month to month.
Boys of the upcoming RTS, and if you were a Zerg main in StarCraft, I think they'll make you feel right at home. That home might be covered in spikes and actively on fire, but I'm not here to judge.
Glad you could make it.
We gotta move. Now. There's a storm coming.
Much like StarCraft's Zerg or Warcraft 3's Undead, the Infernal Host is Stormgate's spread corruption across the map faction, with a new mechanic called Shroud that swirls in a radius around your main base building and defensive towers. Unlike the Zerg and Undead, you don't have to build on Shroud. You can plop structures down anywhere you want, but Infernal Units standing on it will slowly fill up a secondary health bar, what the devs are currently just calling white health, that makes them extra tanky.
So it's basically shields. As long as any of your units are standing on this creep or bile, I don't know what is it called, you gain shields that basically you can kind of see them, they're like charging up over time. So if your unit has like 100 health, you'll have like, I don't know if it's actually 1-to-1 health to shield ratio, but if you have like 100 health, you'll have like 50 shields or 100 shields extra. So there's some benefit when you play Infernals to, like, you can go across the map immediately, but you can also wait for the shields to charge up on your units and then push, and basically have just stronger push in general, and you can do kind of like better timings.
This is a great natural deterrent to early harassment, since even your workers get access to it. White health begins to degrade when you're not standing on Shroud, though. This encouraged me to build up a huge critical mass of troops on my Shroud and then send them in all at once while they were at their beefiest. Little groups of units don't necessarily do well deploying to far corners of the map where they can't top up. Though, of course, you can always set up forward outposts if you need a little more juice. These wave tactics are encouraged by other Infernal mechanics too. For instance, their units build instantly, but each building...
Okay, before he moves on to that, so this creep that you see is spread by these towers currently, not every building. So like the main base does, and these towers do. So you don't need this creep everywhere, but you kind of want it where you're either will idle the army or it's like a point of attack. So if you're attacking and you're like trying to make a concave in front of an opponent's base, you want to build one tower so that the shields start regenning and your units get stronger and stronger. So that's kind of the idea behind it. Now this is an interesting part that did not exist the last time I played it.
For instance, their units build instantly, but each building only has so many spawn charges which take time to refresh. So if you hold off on building units for a while, you can build a whole bunch really fast.
So you can see right here, it says 3, 3. So what it seems like is that each building, I am assuming by the way, when I played Infernals last time, they were like normal. They did not have this. So what I'm assuming is, let's say a unit recharges every 30 seconds or 60 seconds, but it has no build time. So the stacks recharge. I don't know if there's a cap to them or no, but there is a bonus. Obviously, there's a benefit to making more buildings so you can have more stacks and you can unleash your units. Now, this is going to be very interesting to see how it plays out, because this can allow basically this race, the Infernals, to be really, really greedy, because technically you're building units if you just have buildings there, because all you need then is resources to get them out. So there might be one of those like super passive eco races that you want to wait until the last moment to pop out your units, but then there's some benefit to popping them earlier so they start regenerating shields. It's like, I don't know, but the reinforcement will be very, very strong with Infernals, I feel like. Like some of their timing pushes are probably going to be really strong because you can reinforce immediately with shit ton of units.
This allows for some fairly brutal timing and tempo pushes, with the demon hordes coming in waves rather than a trickle to the front line. The Infernal Host is designed to be a faction where you don't sweat the deaths of a couple hundred minions. There are plenty more where that came from, and you have worlds to conquer. In fact, you want to see both sides' population numbers drop, as this faction collects a unique resource called Animus every time something dies anywhere on the map, which can be used to perform special rituals like summoning this capstone flying unit, the Flayed Dragon.
So this also is new to me. So there, I don't see the resource. I don't know how this works. I'm not sure if it's like on some kind of building, this Animus thing. I don't know if it's on some building that you can see it or what. But, and he says you can summon rituals such as Flayed Dragon. So I'm assuming, I don't know if this is like a hero unit, because it has 900 health and 450 shields, which is a lot. So I don't know if there's like different spells to it or what, but it kind of seems like a hero unit.
Animus is collected by all Infernal players simultaneously, so in Infernal versus Infernal games, you can expect a pretty chaotic mirror match.
Oh, so if you're... So anytime a unit dies in the game, you're getting the thing. So if it's Infernal versus Infernal, you're both getting it from each other's units.
Many Infernal units also benefit from your own side taking losses in other ways. This is the Brute, who reminds me a little bit of the two-headed Ogre Mage from Warcraft. He's a big, tanky frontline fighter, but if he's not getting along with his better half, he can literally rip himself in two and spawn two fiends, who are sort of the Zerglings of the Infernal Host. There's even
this ability is really cool, actually. So basically, the way you use these is so you can split the Brute immediately and go scout with these Zerglings. But what you actually do in like real games is when you fight with the Brutes, when they get like one shot from dying, that's when you split them, because then the little Zerglings are full HP. So there's a lot of micro that can be done with them.
Not getting along with his better half, he can literally rip himself in two and spawn two fiends, who are sort of the Zerglings of the Infernal Host. There's even an upgrade that causes this to happen automatically whenever a Brute dies.
This is also new to me. So they added an upgrade that when a brute dies, it immediately spawns 2 as well, which is probably sometimes later in the game. I don't think this would be early in the game, because early in the game there's a lot of microing with splitting them, and later on, if you're like 100 plus supply to 200 supply, you're not gonna have time to split them manually.
Fiends are fast and deadly, but their regular health bar starts dropping automatically the moment they come into existence. You can keep them alive longer by putting them on Shroud, since their white health won't decay, but it's usually not a very efficient use of your population cap to just keep a bunch of them around, so it's better to just send them off to fall in glorious battle before time takes its toll.
They're very good for harassment. Very, very good.
Your other basic infantry unit is the Gaunt.
Gaunt present.
These pointy little dudes with a glaive attack that can bounce to multiple enemies. They're most effective in large groups, and their unique upgrade allows them to pay a little bit of health to make their glaives temporarily spread an infest status effect to enemy units. Any unit that dies while infested spawns a fiend.
So they spawn these little broodlings, zerglings, whatever you want to call them. So this is now, I guess, activation ability. You can see it right here. So they lose health, and they turn on infestability, I'm assuming, for some time. So any unit that gets attacked and then later dies while having the debuff spawns the thing. So obviously in massive battles, when you're like having 20, 30 of these and they're infesting 30 different units, you're going to spawn 30 broodlings, which is pretty good.
You may see where this is going. A front line of upgraded Gaunts and Brutes can turn into an absolute doom tide of fiends, even if you're taking
By
much
the way, this thing behind
heavier
it you
losses
see
than
coming are workers that have an ability to basically explode in the next, I don't know, like 5 seconds and do a lot of damage.
the enemy, which turns the momentum of the
You
battle
can see
around
on the left side they're
fast.
coming. Look at this.
Note that Stormgate is still being actively balanced, and since the Infernal Host is the newer faction, they're not quite as balanced as the poor human vanguard here.
Listen.
That's not the only way to use Infest, though. Remember this big guy? The Flayed Dragon can inhale the Infest effect from all nearby units affected by it, inflicting damage on them and topping off the white health of his nearby
I wish the abilities were moused over.
allies. He's kind of like a frostworm on steroids. The best counter seems to be not letting your opponent get one in the first place. I got to see a couple more Infernal units too. This is the
This is a new
Weaver,
one.
a big, slow, spidery thing that can tell an
Wait, it says... Wait, I can read that. Launches a harpoon at the target unit, pulling it to the location of the rear and dealing 60 damage if it's an enemy unit. 12-second cooldown? I haven't touched it, I haven't played it, but that's OP.
thing that can tell an enemy to get over here, like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat.
They got a lot of
They can
health,
also
too.
see up smaller cliffs due to being so tall. The Magmadon here, which gives me Kodo Beast
is like
vibes,
Ultra.
can charge through most enemy ground units, pushing them out of the way
So
and
this
allowing
thing can eat these small things and gain shields immediately, and it also has like a charge ability.
it to get to the softer back line. The Doombringer is an air transport that creates a radius of shroud around it when deployed, though it has to touch grass to do so. Kind of like a warp prism that's a bit more vulnerable to counterattack. The Infernal Host is the kind of RTS faction that takes some getting used to, in contrast to the more standard Vanguard. But it really is a riot once you get the hang of it, with battles that look hopeless to a newcomer turning into a clean sweep, as the ground is replaced with fiends and your enemy winds
These
up
guys are
completely
interesting, the
inundated
Weavers. I
by
haven't seen
death.
them.
They share some traits with factions in this team's past work, but are very much their own thing. If you want to try them out yourself, the pre-launch page for the Stormgate Kickstarter is now live. For more on the latest upcoming video games, don't miss our recent hands-on look at Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. And for everything else, stick with IGN.
Alright, so
Tell an
I
enemy
don't
to-
agree that this looks like some of the, like, he keeps comparing them to Zerg and like Warcraft 3, I don't know what he compared it to. Like, honestly, none of these mechanics even remotely are those. like, even though it will have instant unit spawn, which is, I mean, it's not really similar to Zerg, because Zerg has multiple larvae that still need to be produced, and Zerg economy is a lot stronger comparatively to the Infernal economy. But I'm glad they showed a lot of the gameplay, and like I said, every update that I see with Stormgate, like, everything improves so much. Like the UI, you can see the control groups on the right as well added. I don't know if the map and the UI on the bottom is going to be like, you know, if you can change it left and right or not, or if it's just like this is standard. I mean, if this is standard, I love it because I love minimap on the bottom right. But they're gonna be very, very unique, and they got some wild ideas. Even the new stuff that they've added that I haven't seen yet is very, very unique. And these units like Weavers seem really strong because they can, I guess they're like anti-siege type of unit that you can pull like big strong units, you know, from the opponent into your backline or something and kill them. So I'm kind of excited to see how they balance Vanguard against these, because a lot of what Vanguard has, I feel like, is countered by what Infernal has, which, you know, this is just like design and stuff, right? Like the balance is, I'm assuming, going to be fixed in time, but it's really exciting to see.
Get over here.
Like all the new units and game slowly like coming to release, right? It's slowly getting updated. So by the way, units can now walk through each other, just so you guys know. There are body blockers, so you can see that the units are not like running through each other. You cannot stack units in any way or anything like that. Are those skins? I don't know if they ever said what it was. I mean, I know what it is, but
games.
Yeah, if I speak, I'm in big trouble. I don't know if they ever mentioned what it is. It's a map thing. The catapult look a bit plastic. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure this is not their final design, but yeah, that's kind of it. Going forward, I don't know what they have announced, but I am assuming, you know, as the time passes, we're gonna see more and more news. I think there's another beta now in December. And I think they either sent out invites or they are sending out invites, but you guys can always sign up if you want to get the chance to receive the alpha, beta. I don't know at what point we're in right now. I think it's beta, closed beta. It's really cool. I'm going to be playing some in December as well. And like I said, I'm really excited for them to, you know, have, for me to be able to actually stream or you know, create some videos for you guys as well and show you the gameplay. But that's going to be it for me today. They showed quite a lot of new stuff actually, and the further we go, there's going to be more and more info for specific units, more things locked in, like, yeah, this is what the unit does, this is how much the unit costs, because not right now I'm pretty sure that things are changing kind of constantly. So whenever there's a new video, whenever there's new gameplay, whenever there's new anything, if I'm allowed to stream, I will be there. YouTuber, gamers, thanks so much for watching. Check me out on Twitch, I'm probably live right now. Twitch gamers, let's keep going.